Okay, so when we talk about the groove, we're talking about the drums and the bass, and maybe another element that's contributing to the groove. We're really talking about the pulse, the way the whole thing feels together. So, not so much of this clicks and stuff. It's really going to be here. So I'm just going to isolate the groove kind of stuff. Let's see, is it this? Might be. Probably not. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Um, Definitely that. This buzz, not so much. This kick, definitely. Like, that's the majority of the groove, right? But let's check out some other elements. Probably that. Definitely want that hi-hat in there. The snare. Probably. That shaker is not there all the time. Okay, that's probably all the elements, primary elements of the groove. So, okay. So, does that feel good? Does that feel like a groove? To me, when I was just building it up right there, which was intentional the way I did that. So, I want to add kind of each element of the groove to it and then figure out when I turned one thing on, did it take away from the groove at all? If it did, then I want to look at that element. And to me, the snare drum kind of took away from the groove. I was feeling it pretty good till we added that. Oops. I can't just unsolo one thing here. So now I got to go back and do the whole thing again. So we had that, that, and that. There we go. Okay. That feels like a better groove than it did with the snare. So what am I going to do about that snare? I'm going to deal with the snare a little bit. Um, Now, talking about a groove in this track is a little strange because it's so straight ahead. You know, this kind of music is just like boom, 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 boom. It's not like there's a swing to it. It's not like there's anything free to it. It's so metric and pulsed that as long as I keep that groove just really solid, it'll be fine. But I do think this snare is diminishing the groove a little bit. Why is that, do we think? See, and this is why we do this last step, because this is something I didn't really notice until I really focused in on it. Here it is without. It might be that there's a ton of low end in that snare. Um, so let me try to pull out some of that low end and see if that helps the groove at all. That feels a little bit better to me. I think the low end of that snare was making it feel like a second kick. And it was just kind of distracting a little bit. I think also the rhythm of the snare takes away from the groove a little bit, the way it's on the quarter note. Um, but in a build up, that can be okay. And that's a compositional thing. I don't want to dive into that. So let's take the snare out. Okay, good groove. Not bad. You know what also really helps the groove is that backbeat hi-hat. Where is that? Is that this? Yeah. This hi-hat is really helping push it along because it's right. It's on the offbeat. So I'm gonna actually push that just a hair. Now I'm gonna kind of contradict my mixing earlier, but Oh, actually, this is tricky because this track changes to something else. But at least right here, yeah, I like that. Okay, that's a really cool groove. So I like that backbeat. I always like a backbeat in a track. So I'm going to push that just a little bit. Okay, so really what you want to do when you're focusing on the groove is kind of put all the elements of the groove together, the stuff that's really driving the pulse of the track, and then just build it up one by one. See what is taking it away. You can almost think of it like, what makes you want to dance? And then you turn one thing on, and does that make you want to dance a little bit less? Work on that thing. See if you can figure out what's going on with it. But I think now, if I unsolo everything, we'll have a pretty solid groove here. I still don't like this vocal. I'm going to take that out. Yeah, cool. I think we got it. Great. Okay, so that's how I like to work on the groove. All right, let's go to this focus element.